Hello world. It's Thursday, the 30th of January 2025, and we're looking at a forecast for soaring from Worcester tomorrow, Friday the 31st of January 2025. I'll start off with a boundary layer wind, and you can see we have a westerly flow over the whole task area. It's similar to the wind we experienced the last 2 days, except it's not nearly as strong, and it's more westerly. You can see out to the west of the ridges it's less than 10 knots, and through the Witzenberg it's around 10 knots, and then we have this localized Venturi effect around Worcester itself, but still it's only getting up to 24 or 25 knots compared to what we've had in the last few days. Zooming out a bit, we can see more of the same over the whole task area. Light winds to the west of us on the easterly ridges towards Swellendam. It's a bit more, around 15 knots, and as you can see the wind is very parallel to the Langeberg, but later in the day towards 5 o'clock it starts having a more southerly component, and with slightly more onto wind wind flowing onto the ridges. Up to the north, still quite light winds. If I look at the Norwegian forecast for tomorrow, this is for the pedestrian forecast for people on the ground, we can see that they're predicting a little bit of rain tonight from about 4 a.m. through to about 8 a.m. It's about 1 millimeter in total. So not very much, not really enough to affect us, but it's something to be aware of. And normally when there's rain there has to be some cloud, so let's just have a look what cloud is around tomorrow. And as we can see, by 2 o'clock it's burnt off completely in the Brederifie Valley. There's still some cloud in the Tobach Valley, but it's high cloud. It's between 5,000 and 6,000 feet, and the same on the front ridge, also between 5,000 and 6,000 feet. To the east the cloud is even higher. Let's just zoom out and see what we're looking at. Around Swellendam it's that looks more like 7,000 to 8,000 feet at 2 o'clock, and at 5 o'clock Swellendam it is still very high, 7,500 feet or so. So if we're looking at what tasks are possible, I like to fall back onto the T5 grams. It gives you a clear indication of what's happening in various parts of the of our task area at different times. So we'll start off with the possibility of going to the north. Firstly, that's Tobach at 2 o'clock. The wind is nicely onto the ridge. It's quite light, around 10 knots, and there's just a hint of some cloud formation there, and an inversion at around 5,000 feet. Porterville, it's a little bit lower at 2 o'clock, with the cloud below 4,000 feet, but the wind is on the ridge quite light. Clanwilliam, similar, also some cloud, and Renorsterhoek, Claver. Coming back at 5 o'clock, that cloud is burnt off. The lift has gone a bit higher, and we're getting over 4,500 feet here. This is Claver, still light winds onto the ridge. Renorsterhoek, Clanwilliam, Porterville, very light wind with some wind shear near the top of the inversion, still 4,500 feet. Tobach, and back, well that's, then we get back to Worcester. Going the other way, this is Robertson at 2 o'clock. Swellendam at 2 o'clock. These winds here are very westerly, so they're almost parallel to the ridge, and there's still just a tiny bit of cloud very high up. Riversdale, but by 5 o'clock we can see that it's beginning to break. There's something happening over here, and the lift is dropping. Riversdale, Swellendam, Robertson, back to Robertson, and it's also beginning to look a bit iffy above 4,500 feet. So basically both to the east and to the west are possible, but east earlier in the day would be a better idea, and then to the north looks better later on in the day. So depending what time we launch and where we go, both are options for the task setters. I don't see any other obvious options. If I go back to where we started from, I don't think we can go inland because there's no cloud over there, and we can obviously work the front ridge down to about, well, almost all the way down to Somerset West. So there are quite a few options tomorrow. I think we'll have a good chance to fly. Please be careful and have fun, and we will talk to you for the last time for this competition tomorrow evening.